Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but $1 billion, trillion-dollar sports business allows us to focus on now international, but also from a Major League Baseball perspective. Bottom line is an incredibly successful week in San Diego. Baseball industry met. The ratings, not that good. The television contract, tremendous. $3 billion a year, local and national, from ESPN, Fox, TBS. $12.4 billion over 8 years, more than double the previous contracts. On the digital side, Major League Baseball Advanced Media, a $10 billion valuation, $800 million in revenue and $400 million annually in operating income. So we know baseball is healthy from a national TV perspective. We know they're healthy from a digital perspective, local deals as well. The Yankees, about $3.4 billion, $510 million after revenue sharing, and the S Network provides about $200 million of annual revenue for the Yankees that other teams don't get. And they're still on the sales mode, probably without a reasonable hope of making the playoffs. The Padres, the 10th best TV deal, $50 million annually. Speaking of the Padres, it's been a great event in San Diego. The economic impact probably at $90 million. They held the All-Star game for the third time in 1978, again in 1992, and now in 2016, 2,000 journalists. And even with the low ratings, the All-Star week is the highest of any sport. But this is more than just the business of the All-Star game. That's past. What's the future is baseball from a development perspective. Ron Fowler, the chairman of the San Diego Padres, Mike D., the president of the Padres, what it's like to put on an event, but also what it's like to proceed after the All-Star game. We have a unprecedented labor peace, 127 Major League Baseball players, earning $10 million a year or more. The average salary about $4 million. The Yankees payroll $223 million. The Rays down to $57. There are great variations in between. What it's like for a relatively small market team to get a big boost from the All-Star game, and what do they do for the next season? Mike D., Ron Fowler, and others weigh in and shed some light on that. Rick Horrow, sports professor, Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in just a couple of minutes.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
I'm KFC's Extra Crispy Colonel, and you're the extra busy regular person who has to make dinner for a family of 4. But you can shirk that responsibility because my Extra Crispy $20 fill-up from KFC contains 8 pieces of freshly double-breaded Extra Crispy chicken, 4 biscuits, 2 orders of mashed potatoes, and a side of coleslaw for just $20. That'll feed 'em. KFC, it's extra crispy good.
Pricing and participation may vary. Tax and substitutions extra.
iHeartRadio loves music. So let's count the ways. Over 20 million songs from 800,000 artists. All free. And like Pandora, you can create your own custom station from any of those 800,000 artists. Just tell us an artist or even a song that you like, and we'll build a custom playlist for you. Add to that thousands of the best live radio stations, and you'll never have to worry about finding the perfect song for your commute, mood, or party. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeartRadio is that easy. Download our iHeartRadio app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Baseball's the theme this week, and we assume on-site coverage of last week's MLB All-Star Game, but getting into the second half of the season with all of the teams looking to make the playoffs and some of the teams not. It is marvelous, by the way, from a parity perspective. 24 teams last 5 years made playoffs, most in baseball history, and 15 years without a repeat World Series champion. If the Cubs are favored, we make it 16. But that's the beauty of baseball. You never know. From a top executive suite, Ron Fowler, the chairman of the board of the San Diego Padres.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Facebook Live on Reuters. Worldwide All-Star Game. Amazing economic impact, San Diego, internationally. It's a huge event. And people who are actually the stewards of the All-Star Game today and the week before, the week after, Ron Fowler, the chairman of the San Diego Padres, and Mike D., the president, COO of the San Diego Padres. Thank you very much for having us here. Really appreciate it. We're going to have a long discussion today with a whole bunch of different people on the economics of the All-Star Game. $85 million, $86 million of economic impact on average. San Diego near that. Mentions, awareness, global excitement. Good for the Padres. We'll talk about that as well. We'll also talk about the business of Major League Baseball from someone in the know. We'll also talk about Major League Baseball International and what it's like to broadcast in Mexico, and also from the merchandising perspective, the guy who drives the e-commerce for Topps. Let's get to the people that really matter first, the Padres. Bud Selig designates San Diego as the host city in 2005 and 2015, and from that point, San Diego's been nothing but excited about the Padres. All the hotels, the Embarcadero, everybody excited about it on and off the field. The Padres really important in this whole issue as well as the All-Star Game. Ron, how do you feel about the week?
Love it. Fans love it. The community loves it. Everything's coming together very, very well. I think all the events are aces so far, and the fact that everything is so close from a geographic standpoint is really fantastic. And you know, you talk about economic impact. I think that's going to be significant, but this is all about the city of San Diego, the people of San Diego, and I think the city will show well. The people will love it. I think the Padre organization is enjoying it, and baseball, I think, is enjoying what's happening. So it's a win all the way down the line.
Well, let's talk baseball for a second, then we'll get to Mike about the Padres specifically and the city. The average franchise value, according to Forbes, we discount Forbes because you never really know what the numbers are, but it's a good thing, and it's very positive in the sense that franchises are now worth nearly $1 billion. We don't have to talk about your specific investment, when you made it and how you made it, but are you happy with your investment?
Well, I don't think you do sports for money. I think you do sports for love. Love the game, and we love the game. Our owners love the game, and I think the value of the franchise has increased, but we're looking more at getting the wins up, and that's what our challenge is right now. Mike and his team did a beautiful job getting this facility up to speed after years of what I'll call benign neglect. But the facility itself is great. Now we just have to have some winning baseball, and when we get there, then we'll accomplish what we need to accomplish.
Well, let's talk to Mike about the specifics relative to the Padres and about Petco. Mike, you've been around and you've been involved with a lot of different franchises, and you put your stamp on this franchise very quickly and very positively. Are you excited about what's happened in the last couple of years under your stewardship?
Well, it's been a busy couple of years for sure. I mean, it starts with Ron and Ron's partner Peter Seiler, our entire ownership group, giving us the mandate to address the benign neglect, as Ron describes it. I like that term. I don't think I've ever heard that. But this is a well-designed ballpark, and I was very fortunate to be here, part of a team back in the '90s that worked on it. But it was like a great house that was never fully furnished. And I think what we've done over the last 4 years is catch up on some deferred maintenance. And we added the new Padres Hall of Fame 10 days ago as an example, which is open to just tremendous reviews by our fans. We never had a Hall of Fame. We had Hall of Famers, but never had a Hall of Fame. So that's just one example of telling the story of baseball history here. But as Ron said, it's about winning and losing, and we can do all those nice things to the ballpark, but we're going to be held accountable for how this team performs, and we're working hard on that front as well.
You can easily look past benign neglect when you have a discussion about economic impact, clearly, and the numbers are all effectively subjective, but the average as far as the 5-year impact over the last 5 All-Star games, $85 to $90 million. Cincy, $60 million last year, but New York was nearly $200 million. So you're going to be on the high side because you're a tourist infrastructure community as well. And also the mentions. When you add up the number of times San Diego is mentioned, it's even hard to quantify. So comment on all that.
Well, it's tremendous for the city, and I like to apply the eyeball test. All the mathematicians are great to calculate all those numbers when the event is done. But if you walk around this city right now, as Ron mentioned, I mean, this city is on fire with baseball from FanFest. And by the way, the first 3 days from FanFest were record numbers. Over 50,000 people attended FanFest Friday through Sunday. We expect that to continue today and tomorrow. Just the enthusiasm, the hotels, and having the footprint of this game be in what is essentially is a Super Bowl-like village, as the NFL likes to call it. But Major League Baseball hasn't had the opportunity to put the All-Star game on, I think, in a condensed area like downtown San Diego. So it is a unique game for sure, and I think the numbers will support what we see right now with our own eyes, and it'll be a tremendous economic gain for the community.
When you think about the power in one room, we just had Chris Park walk in, Senior Vice President, Growth Strategy and International. This is one of the longest titles I've ever seen, by the way, so congratulations to you. And we've got baseball here, we've got international guys here, we've got merchandise here, and the chairman of the board. Ron, another perspective about baseball. Is the biggest business side of baseball's improvement the $8 or $9 billion a year in revenue, the fact that Major League Baseball advanced media could be $10 billion if valued on the market, the fact that $3 billion in national TV contract come to you every year, the fact that there are 15 teams that are worth over $1 billion, the fact that thanks to the Labor Committee you've got labor peace. Is it a little of all of that?
Well, I think it's all those, but I think the game itself is young people, I think, are taking to the various aspects of the game. There's a lot of analysis, a lot of apps I think are available, and I think the young people are sort of catching on to all the action that you can have. But it's been a lot of hard work from a lot of people that are here before us, and I think those of us who are older have seen it for years, and the pace and the understanding as to strategy and such. And I think as we speed up the game and young people have apps that they can look at, I think the combination of all those is continue to grow the game in the future. And I think the international aspects, which you'll talk about later, are going to improve it all over the world. That's what we're looking for.
First, speed up the game for a second. So Major League Baseball advanced media, the $10 billion valuation, they say, but nearly $1 billion in revenue, and the operating income at $400 million or so. What it speaks to is the millennials and those people who can use Facebook darn sight better than I can, but certainly people who are looking at Facebook today and realize how valuable it is to take a mobile device and turn it into a TV set. Wouldn't you basically agree?
Yeah, totally agree. I think that's expanding the audience, and I've got a son who's 28. He never going to have a cord to cut. He doesn't believe he needs it. So I think that's the generation that we're going to appeal to with what's happening now, and it's very exciting.
Are you happy with the Labor Committee that the average baseball salary is $4.4 million? Are they players getting what they need to get? Should they get less? What's the deal?
Well, I'm not going to say they should get less. Tony Hawk's about 8 inches taller than I am, but we're going through what I call productive negotiations, and I'm hoping that we have a contract that maybe nobody loves, but everybody can live with.
Well,
we're working for.
But that's an interesting perspective because It used to be 30 years ago that when you thought baseball, you thought work discord, work stoppage, and now you really think labor peace. Whether it's this commissioner building on what Bud Selig did, or in a combination of things, you really do have a good relationship with the players that's way beyond, you might even say, what other sports are doing. It's taken a while to nurture that relationship, hasn't it?
I think Commissioner Selig set the stage for that, and Rob was one of his senior negotiators for many years. So I think both Commissioner Selig and Commissioner Manfred appreciate the value of having a good working relationship with the players, and that's the only way you're going to be able to have sustainable growth, that you have labor peace. And as the water rises, ships will rise, and owners should do better, and so should the players.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
The dog days of summer doesn't necessarily mean it's a good time to be a dog. I'm Danny Lipper with tips for today's homeowner. Stay tuned and we'll tell you how to help your pets keep their cool right after this.
And it's a championship built from the ground up. Not a fumble in sight. Look at that swing. He's sliding. He made it.
Dad, I'm playing.
Well, I'm proud of that Yellowwood swing set I built. And the game isn't on yet.
But do you have to use a megaphone?
Hey, it brings out the hustle.
Backyard better with Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. Download your project at buildyellow.com. If it doesn't have that yellow tag, you don't want it.
You hear all kinds of health warnings for people during times of high temperature and humidity, but these conditions can be just as dangerous for the pets in our life. Pets that are very young or very old, short-nosed dogs, and pets with heavier coats will need some extra attention. When you walk your dog, early mornings are the best. They stay outside, always keep their water bowl refreshed. Adding a little ice in the water to melt is also a great idea. Make sure they have a shady spot to rest in during the day, and of course, never leave a pet in a parked car, even with the windows rolled down. If you notice your pet is panting excessively or has difficulty breathing, get it in the shade or air conditioning immediately to cool them down, and consult your vet as soon as possible. I'm Danny Lipford with tips for today's homeowner.
I'm KFC's Extra Crispy Colonel, and you're the extra busy regular person who has to make dinner for a family of 4. But you can shirk that responsibility because my Extra Crispy $20 fill-up from KFC contains 8 pieces of freshly double-breaded extra crispy chicken, 4 biscuits, 2 orders of mashed potatoes, and a side of coleslaw for just $20. That'll feed them. KFC, it's extra crispy good.
Pricing and participation may vary. Tax and substitutions extra.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Baseball's the theme this week, and we assume on-site coverage of last week's MLB All-Star Game, but Mike D has a varied career. He was in racing. He was with Fenway Sports. He was with the Miami Dolphins and now running the San Diego Padres. Big week last week, but now the pressure on to succeed out of the gate for the second half of the season. Mike D.
World Baseball Classic, Olympics, 170 countries and 13 languages, including another language today. The All-Star Game. What is the future of Major League Baseball internationally?
Well, I mean, I hope it's robust, and I'll defer to Chris Park, who'll be on here in a few minutes to talk about it. But clearly, Commissioner Manfred has made it a early objective and a priority of his commissionership to prioritize Mexico as one example, where we just returned today from dedicating the first MLB All-Star Game legacy project outside of the United States down in Tijuana at the Boys and Girls Club. It was great to see that. We played in Mexico in March, an exhibition 2-game series against Houston. So I think for the first time, to set Chris up, not to steal his thunder, we're looking at the international business very strategically, not just haphazardly playing games where it may make sense to go here or there, no one-offs. It's about an overall strategy, and I think Mexico plays into that, but other places do as well. And the Padres always take great pride whenever we're called upon by baseball to represent the game elsewhere and abroad. But kudos to Commissioner Manfred for having the vision to recognize that a country that's very important to us, one that resides 12 miles from Petco Park, should be a priority for baseball moving forward.
And, of course, it's important that these fans are Padres fans as much as possible.
No question. It's our home market. Yeah. It's not even outside of our market. Tijuana is Padres' home territory, and Eduardo Ortega, who you're going to have on, is the voice of the Padres, not just here north of the border with those fans who listen Spanish language, but many throughout Baja California as well.
And I'm just before we finish, Eduardo, I'm just going to give you a 2-minute notice when you're on. I want you to crank up the best possible call you have in your language relative to the Padres. All right, so I want you thinking about that. And Chris, we're not stealing your thunder. You'll be on in a second. But just, Mike, from your perspective on Petco, amazing evolution of Petco. I know a lot of, having been in the facility business, you build it once, you take advantage of it, then you come back 15 years later and say, give me more. You guys have worked in harmony with the city and the political entities to get what you needed to, and it evolved as the technology evolved. So kudos to you. How'd you do it?
Well, from the get-go, this has always been about a private-public partnership, perhaps the best one anywhere with a sports facility in the United States. So a lot of that burden is, on an ongoing basis, is incurred by the Padres, things like maintenance. We put a new scoreboard in, the largest video board in the National League, trying to make sure that we were keeping up with fan trends. Fan trends change, for the most part, every 10 years. And, in the midst of that 10-year period, you see a lot of small changes. But I think the last 10 years with technology and some of the things that are available and portability, mobility, with people wanting to view things, while they're sitting at a game, they're actually, to Ron's point, not just millennials, but old millennials are looking at statistics and real-time information. So we have to keep up with that trend, and it's an ongoing battle, and it's a labor of love for us. We think there's a great opportunity. But in order to do that, the bones of the facility have to be good. And fortunately, those who designed this facility, Ron was a big part of it. Larry Lucchino led the design effort. We have a great facility to work with for the long haul. And just as I was around for Fenway Park's 100th anniversary, I say all the time here in San Diego, I hope we're both alive to see it, but San Diegans will one day celebrate the 100th birthday of Petco Park, and it'll be a tremendous facility then as it is today.
And the bones are great, but the scoreboard is 61 times 123, and it's a 7,500 square feet. I saw those numbers. Third largest in baseball. I know you well. Who are 1 and 2, and why aren't you 1 and 2?
Structurally, we looked at being the largest. We just couldn't get there. We pulled a hamstring in the design process, but kudos to Sony and Daktronics for working with us. But we settled for being the biggest in the National League, and it was a major investment by ownership. We've invested over $50 million in Petco Park since Ron and Peter and the group purchased the team in 2012, and that's hard to do. It's hard to pay for that through internal sources, and but I think to a person, you'd hear the fans say it's dramatically improved the fan experience, and that's what we're about. That's why this ownership group it gets it, because we think like fans.
So finally, 78, 92, 2016. So apparently you have All-Star games here in 14-year increments. Are you going to be around in 2030 to preside over that All-Star game?
I'm hoping to be alive in 2030 and attending the All-Star game. I'm going to leave the heavy lifting to the young guys in the room like Mike.
Guys, you've been great. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. Go generate some significant support in the community. Mike, it's been wonderful. Thanks a lot.
Look at these tremendous logos.
There it is.
Look at
there it is.
3 All-Star games.
3 All-Star. That's perfect. And then we've got the Petco Park design as well. Ron, thanks a lot. Mike, I'll see you in a little while. Chris, you guys are going to wait, because this guy's an EVP of Major League Baseball, okay? And what that means is he can do whatever he wants. Put that on. Okay. Thank you.
On here? Or does
okay.
Or just hold it?
You can hold it. Put on your tie. This is live TV. So
professional.
Okay, and step back in a little bit, because there you go.
Okay.
Perfect. We okay? Is he good? Is that great? All right. The old Harvard guy has to be next to the other Harvard guy.
Also pulling at your cord there.
So here's my first question.
Yes, sir.
In civil procedure, when you decided not to read the boring stuff, did you backbench? Did you actually go to class?
Of course I did. Well, I was fortunate to have the same alma mater as our commissioner.
Yes.
At the time, I didn't know he was going to be.
Yes.
Nor did I know that I'd have the good fortune to work for him and work for our game.
Well, it is interesting because we've had conversations about Harvard Law, and I was a grad in '79, I guess it is, and we finally found somebody who can bring it to the next level. So thank you.
It's hardly what we need.
Yeah. Growth, strategy, and international senior vice president. It is a busy business card, and you talked about a lot of different things. How did it evolve, and what exactly do you do, basically?
Yeah, sure. So I know you mentioned there's a lot of words. I guess if there's solutions in search of a problem, these are words in search of a solution. So I think basically the overall goal is, first, whether it be outside of the United States or even domestically, to focus on certain areas of the business that either are potential revenue opportunities or just overall areas in which we as a league could do a better job of playing a support role, not only for our clubs, but also for our fans and our other partners. And so obviously the showcase for a lot of what we're doing both this weekend and later on in the season and in the coming 12 months is internationally, both for our business as well as for our events.
Well, the perspective you have is really unique, and people ought to know it. In a previous life at baseball, you were the VP of Labor Economics and Deputy General Counsel.
Sure.
So you had a lot of different perspectives there. Also a Facebook guy, right? And so this is Facebook Reuters, which is a big deal, and a McKinsey guy.
Sure.
So you've covered the waterfront. So how did that all prepare you for what you're doing today?
Sure. I think probably the main challenge for us, and it's almost a reality by which we operate really under the commissioner's leadership, is to work quickly and to work on really big problems and to try to make a significant impact for our clubs as well as for our fans in areas that could really make a difference to the future of the game. And so I think every day under the Commissioner Manfred's leadership, as you'll see in our office, is pretty not only fast-paced but pretty diverse, and it requires a lot of different skills. You got to wear a lot of different hats. It's one of the requirements for working for Mr. Manfred. So.
Well, how do you evaluate international success and growth? Is it the 238 players born outside the U.S. on opening rosters? Is it, I found it interesting that Commissioner Manfred's letter to the average fan, it doesn't begin with congratulations of existing teams. It doesn't begin with labor peace. It begins with the games during spring training that included Australia, Panama, Mexico, and Cuba. So that's on his mind.
Right.
How do you evaluate success on that long term?
I think the key for us is to deal with the reality of international growth and development in a way that maybe isn't obvious to folks who don't live the business day to day. And in simple terms, what that means is that the way we evaluate our success or our failure, our opportunities and our challenges, very much depends on where we are, which fans we're trying to serve, and what sorts of things we're trying to do. We realize, even in just the sentence you quoted, that our fans or our prospective fans in Mexico are a different community altogether from our fans or prospective fans in Panama, to say nothing of the other side of the world. So we're very metric oriented. We want to measure everything we do, but the precise things we look at will vary very much by where we are.
Baseball's one of those things that, Olympic sport's one of those things that the farther away you get from a sport being in it, the harder it is to bring it back. Look at golf. It took 9 million years. When does baseball get back into the Olympics?
Well, we're certainly hopeful that we're on the doorstep. I think the overall international baseball community knows that Tokyo in 2020 is a prime opportunity given the unique lineage and vibrancy of the baseball community in Japan. But of course, it's not really our decision to make, but we're standing by the wayside and hoping, just like everyone else, all the other fans of baseball around the world, that we're close.
Let's talk Mexico a little bit.
Sure.
There's all the political controversy. We're going to put that aside because that's not really relevant today. But we do know that they're 120 million population, and we also know that a study that you had done or was done as part of a whole process, so about 21% of Mexicans are baseball fans now. So unlimited potential. Mexican League, important as well. What specifically are you guys doing to help all that?
Sure. I think Mexico is unique in a sense and not unique in another sense. I think there's many different communities in the world where we see opportunities to grow not only the game but also baseball as an enterprise. And our primary focus wherever we are is to calibrate our role, our investment, even our taglines to precisely the kinds of things that our partners and our fans, even our municipal partners, for instance, want us to be. What makes Mexico, we think, unique, though, is the opportunity for us not just to gain fans or to grow an area of activity for our clubs and for the community overall, but to integrate all of our activity back into the core of what Major League Baseball is today.
Perspective about what it's like to put on an all-star game, but also what it's like to be the San Diego Padres as they compete with the Angels and the Dodgers for the Southern California market. Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard.
Blood pressure tends to run higher during the day and lower during nighttime sleep. However, many with high blood pressure don't exhibit this nighttime dip, a condition called non-dipping. More in today's AARP health tip after this.
At Walgreens, getting diabetes testing supplies with Medicare Part B is a walk in the park. Really? Because getting what you need is quick and easy, giving you more time for other things. There's $0 out of pocket on all major brands like Accu-Check and Walgreens TrueMetrics, and no extra paperwork. So managing diabetes becomes a stroll down Easy Street, or a trip to the movies, or even a day at the beach. Talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Zero out-of-pocket cost when billed to Medicare and full coverage supplemental insurance.
Non-dipping is a major risk factor for stroke, heart attack, and kidney disease. But studies show taking one or more of your prescribed blood pressure medications just before bedtime significantly decreases the risk. Of course, never change the timing of your medications without first consulting your doctor. For more, go to aarp.org.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Competition of its own in the trading card perspective. Major League Baseball merchandising, how they built on the All-Star Game, international development, and maybe most important, the brand of Topps. Jeff Heckman, the guy who runs the marketing side of Topps, here's what he has to say.
We talk e-commerce, we talk a whole bunch of stuff. Come on over, okay? Appreciate that. Oh, we're tag teaming, huh?
Yeah,
that's
we are.
Good. Not a problem.
We've got two different folks.
Jeff Heckman, Director of E-commerce for Topps, okay? And
Deniz Yezgin, I'm the Director of Marketing for our digital apps.
Great. So Tops is so. I've been told my producer get closer. Is that okay?
That's quite all right.
But I'm not sure how long.
I know.
I'm not sure how long he's wearing the shirt. So I don't know, man. That's really good. I told him to dress up. That's all they can come up with, right? That's the bottom line.
I brought something from the history of the company.
So the history of the company is really, really important, and that's more important maybe than anything else we're talking about, because baseball is legacy, tradition, and I and a lot of other kids grew up with the trading cards, and we would basically toss the gum. We didn't care about the gum. We cared about the cards. So how has the company evolved, or when did it start, and how's the company evolved? Give us a little history.
Sure. So the company started in 1938, and it was, at that time, a gum company. And then in 1951, we came up with the first baseball card. It wasn't really until 1952, which is the famous baseball card series. It included Mickey Mantle, a lot of the other stars of the day, where Topps is really known. That was the modern trading card. 2.5 by 3.5, stats on the back, player pictures on the front. It's really what a lot of people grew up with and still collect today. So throughout the course of all that year, we're celebrating our 65th anniversary, which is great. We've really been embedded in the fabric of baseball. Kids and even adults, as they've kind of gone through the evolution of their fandom with baseball. So it's been really great to kind of see, and even getting to the point we're at today. Dennis is here. I mean, we've gone from physical trading cards. We're at the point where we have digital apps, which are trading cards, but there's something that you can collect and trade through iPhones or Androids or any other tablet that we have available. So it's been really great for Topps to be involved with baseball throughout those 65 years.
All right, Dennis, digital apps.
Yeah.
Tell me it ain't so. So I have hundreds of thousands of cards in my attic, like everybody else does. If you're not, if you throw those cards out, you ought to be shot. I mean, you're not human, okay? And now kids are growing up on the basis of an iPhone app. How's it work?
Exactly. I mean, business model, if you will, is kind of shifting, right? So it is a slow shift. I mean, we don't want you to throw your cards away, obviously.
Right.
We would like you to keep them and buy more of them.
Yeah.
But, I think as the new youth generation coming in, they're consuming information in a much different way, right? It's all through the apps, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So, I think the apps for any business is just a natural extension of that business. So that we look at it that way. And, we have apps for MLB, which is a bunt app. We have an app for NFL, which is a partner. Star Wars is another partner. We have an app for Walking Dead. So
an app for Walking Dead. Wait, time out. Now we're not letting this go.
Yeah.
We're going to have we have a set of Walking Dead trading cards and an app for them.
That's correct. Yes.
I'm leaving this. Do we have any Walking Dead app? Do we have any Walking Dead cards?
We just have baseball cards.
Just baseball cards today.
Baseball cards.
When we do our next Facebook Live show on Walking Dead, then we're going to have you back. That's okay.
Just to give you kind of some numbers that you guys can maybe take. We have over 1 million monthly active users in our apps. So it's there is I'm sure we have 1 million purchasers since the company was set up. But for us to be able to reach those customers on a monthly basis, and more than 1 million of them, it is a good medium to have, or a channel to have, if you will.
Do you have a sense of value of collectibles? Because this flies against the traditional collectible notion. If all you need to do is open up an app and you have access to it, how does that all work these days?
I mean, we have an in-game economy, so we have a certain value for our apps that are in our apps. And some people also that plays our apps, day and night, take him to eBay and they attach some sort of a value to it. But for us, whatever the in-game economy tells us the value of the card is, that is the value. It has some external value. Yeah.
Jeff, talk broadly about the branding of Topps and its evolution. So we've done this before. You've had an expertise at FC Johnson. By the way, did you see they now have licensed off as the official insect repellent of the Olympics for Zika, which is a big deal. So congrats. Oh, you're not there anymore.
I'm not there anymore. No, but I still have a lot of friends there.
I'm
very,
sure.
Very cool.
By the way, that was a heck of an assignment. But talk a little bit about sustaining the Topps brand in the peaks and valleys of the business cycle, but also in the conversion from the traditional you got to have it on paper to the e-economy. It's a lot different.
It is different, but there are actually a lot of similarities that we employ, which keeps the brand strong and keeps the brand something that people really understand and know. So the things that they're doing in the digital trading card app, for example, they follow a lot of the same tenets and principles that we have in the physical trading cards. So they have limited editions as far as the cards, limited amount of time that they're available. So a lot of the things that drive the excitement and the value of the Topps brand in general, because it is a collectible, is really all about just kind of the enjoyment, the chase, opening the packs, not having as many cards of certain cards, going after your favorite players, the star players of the different leagues and entertainment properties. So I think that's the one thing that has been consistent and constant with Topps throughout the course of time is it's always a trading card, it's a collectible, and it's something that will appeal to kids and adults, and everyone can assign their own value to it. There's a lot of different ways that people can collect. You can collect the whole set, you can collect your favorite team, you can collect the rare cards, you can collect it with the goal of trying to sell it on a secondary market, you can collect it with the goal of holding it for years and years, you can collect it with the goal of passing it down a generation. So I think that's what's held consistent for Topps, and it's something that being involved from S.C. Johnson to Topps, people, when they see Topps, everyone knows what it is. The brand awareness is extremely high, and that's something we're really proud of.
Easy fight, hard fight, because Fleer, I can't remember, but there are a lot of pretenders, and Topps has always had the space, and it was almost as much as not getting market share, but sustaining people's appetite for actually having cards. So how has e-commerce then guaranteed that it'll sustain over time as well, and the brand legacy as well?
Yeah, I mean, like Jeff mentioned, there are a lot of similarities between digital and e-commerce, what Jeff is trying to do with his team. We work with big partners and very, branded partners, if you will, NFL, MLB, Lucasfilms, and I think that is going to be kind of the trend for us, and I don't think we're going to switch from that business model. But, what it also gives us kind of the carryover, or we kind of live in this middle area, which we can actually target customers and reach out to the customers that are similar or based on their behavior. Emergence of Facebook. There's a lot of data that can feed into between e-commerce and digital apps. So that is kind of, I think, how we're going to sustain and scale, and kind of, even for the upcoming brands, it could be any additional brand that we're looking for. It is a lot more data-driven. Youth is consuming the information a lot more differently. So it is one thing to push a person to a hobby store, but I think we have now much more power in terms of their apps, or their devices, their Facebook accounts. So we can really target people and scale in a different way.
Final question, Jeff Heckman. What does the business and what does Topps as part of the business look like 10 years from now?
I think that's a great question. I think there's, as I mentioned before, I think there's a lot of similarities to, the way Topps looks now. And I think the one, another kind of core thing that Topps has done throughout its course of time is really evolved and been innovative. And, sitting here, I've been at the company for 5 years. When I first started, we didn't even have any apps. Now we have, approximately 10 different properties. The e-commerce channel was just, very much in its infancy. Now we're doing print on demand, where we're putting out cards the next day. So that's through our Topps Now program. So really just to be able to see that, I think, we'll continue to, the digital and the apps will continue to grow. I think a lot of people will continue to be consuming things through online, and I know that Topps will be able to provide people the content in the manner and the way in which they want. So, it's always hard to predict the future, but I think that Topps will still be very relevant and important to all different age groups, and certainly within MLB. I mean, we're synonymous with Major League Baseball, and I don't expect that to change.
And it won't change, but now that we've done your business philosophy and your future, do you have any swag for me? What do you have?
I do, absolutely. So we got some really fun stuff
really
from
important.
the Fan Fest, and that's where I came from. So these are our Topps Now cards. So you can see this is Mike Trout. And Topps Now commemorates the best moments as they happen in sports. So right after Mike was elected to the All-Star game, he is the sixth player elected under the age of 25 to 4 consecutive All-Star games. So it's quite an impressive list. You can see on the back, Mickey Mantle's on there. I'm just going to read it so I don't get it wrong. Ivan Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr., Al Kaline, and Joe DiMaggio. So pretty impressive company. And then you can see another card, and this one I think will really appeal to the San Diego fans. So you had mentioned before in some of the other talks you had with the Padres about the last time the game was here in '92. We have a great image of Tony Gwynn, Mr. Padre, and Ken Griffey Jr., who was the winner of the MVP for the All-Star game. So just kind of a really cool moment. And then Dennis has some other stuff.
I just want you to understand that as still as I have been to be able to hold these cards, she's shaking the camera. That's the reason why that's happening.
And then this is one more physical thing before we get to the app. So during FanFest, I mean, it has been record and absolutely awesome. So we've been passing those out to kids all throughout the FanFest. So as you'll see,
50% off.
So that's So in our major retailers,
young kids already before they even have a chance.
That's right. Yeah. So you'll see the different. So it's free.
Off what? I have no idea what you're going to buy. 50% off.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And Alex Guerrero. This is interesting. So this is out as much on this card as he does in real life.
So these are our just real trading cards, and the idea is just to have kids have them and they love them and come up and swarm the booth. So Dennis will talk about these.
What do you got?
We've been giving away these posters since the FanFest started. So far, giving away about 60,000. They're completely free. Anyone that comes by our booth.
And by the way, this is obviously Clayton Kershaw.
Yes.
$33.2 million. And he's not smiling. If you're making $33 million, why are you smiling? I mean, that is really ridiculous. Who else you had? Manny Machado.
Yeah.
And by the way, all of these guys were at the media center an hour ago with booths right next to him, and the kids were not there, but the reporters were able to get. And it was like the kids because they were kind of sneaking. You're not supposed to do this, but can you give me an autograph? Which is really kind of bizarre. You saw that?
Yeah.
Here is Chris Bryant. By the way, I don't know if you knew, but the fans voted in. There are 48 Cubs on the National League All-Star team. Right? It's pretty close to it. It's amazing. You walk around, and this is, I was going to kid Mike D about it, but this is now Chicago Southwest, I guarantee.
It is.
And here we have Bryce Harper. That's a pretty, you got Chris Bryant, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, Clayton Kershaw, David Ortiz. That is a great All-Star team. And you just give these away?
Yes.
By the way, we're commandeering these, okay?
Yes, I got 5 more of each. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, my friend. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Very nice
It was totally awesome. Good luck, guys. And good luck with everything.
Thank you guys very much for having us.
That was great.
Tops and baseball cards have gone together, well, like apple pie and Chevrolet, but it's also how kids connect to the game, a very important component of Major League Baseball now and in the future.
When they talk about inspiring growth and development of downtown San Diego, they really mean it. The economic impact of the game, you heard me talking about it. Nobody's really knows what the number is yet. They'll have the study that generates after that. The average 5-year impact on average has been about $90 million. It's a lot higher in cities like New York with $200 million. But with 2,000 writers and journalists, 731 million votes last year in the Esurance All-Star vote, a lot heavy in Chicago this year, obviously, with all of the Chicago Cubs. The Mobile Fan Fest, there were about 125,000 visitors last year. Mike D told us we've already beaten that record this year. So it's good for the Padres, by the way. 2 years ago, their value, they were about 19th. 45% increase in value, nearly $1 billion. You heard Ron Fowler say that he's not doing it for money, he's doing it for the love of the game. But if you're making money, you love the game that much more.
Bust, Boom, and Hope coming up. Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. See you in a couple of minutes.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance, or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242, 800-614-1242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Inspire Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, damages and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion hip settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Rick Horrow, sports professor, Beyond the Scoreboard, serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. But we cover the All-Star game with fervor because that's baseball's industry trade meeting. Now we get into bust, boom, and hope. The bad, the good, and the hopeful in the economy. First, bust. The NBA's ever-increasing salary cap allowed many of the league's superstars to join forces, but none bigger than Kevin Durant electing to sign with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and the Warriors the other week. In the wake of Durant's move to the Bay Area, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver expressed concern about the impact of the move and the need to maintain the league's competitive balance. Just to be absolutely clear, I don't think it's ideal from a league standpoint, said Silver. The good news is we're in collective bargaining cycle, so everybody has an opportunity, owners and the union, to sit down behind closed doors and take a fresh look at the system and see if there's a better way we can do it. My belief is we can make it better. Silver hopes to rework the CBA to ensure that every team in the NBA has a shot at being competitive. Boom. Just within 6 hours of becoming available, the entire allotment of Los Angeles Rams season tickets was sold, according to the LA Times. Around 24,000 people bought all 70,000 tickets. The capacity for the season's Rams games at the Memorial Coliseum set at the 80,000 mark. The anticipated sold-out crowds in L.A. will present a drastically different home environment. And finally, hope. After losing money on the 2010 Vancouver Winter Games, and finally, hope. After losing money on the 2010 Vancouver Winter Games and breaking even on the 2012 London ones, NBC Sports Group Chair Mark Lazarus firmly believes the network will finally turn a profit this time around. NBC Sports ad executive Seth Winters said that while inventory is still available, NBC closing in on the selling of $1.2 billion worth of ads. NBC CEO Steve Burke confirmed that the company has hit the targets for the Rio Games, which will end up being the most profitable in Olympic history. And despite the ongoing drama surrounding the Rio Games and all the problems the city and country continue to face, Burke revealed NBC way ahead of where they were at this point leading up to the London Olympics. And while NBC is selling advertising for its digital coverage, a majority of sales are for commercials on primetime telecast over the broadcast network. The Olympics, a loss leader, and now a profit leader. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks to Mike D., thanks to Ron Fowler and Jeff Heckman, and the All-Star Week. Baseball beginning its second half. Rick Horrow, join us next week, won't you, when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.